she really was impressed with the fucking as well. She said that. But hey, man, I brought the Rebecca thing because of her story where she took the IV and tore it out of her arm.
Yeah.
That reminded me when I worked at the plasma center. Have you ever heard the thing where like oxygen gets into your blood?
Yeah,
air bubbles,
like air bubbles in your veins and shit like that.
Yeah, but you need like really like 2 feet of like air.
Really?
Yeah, in those tubes. But this guy saw an air bubble, and he freaked out, yanked the fucking thing out, blood started shooting everywhere.
What do you do in that situation?
He got kicked out.
Well, obviously, but like if he just went, excuse me, like I see an air bubble.
Yeah, see, but that was see, this is why I sued the company, or this is what motivated me from suing the company, is because if I give you a fucking idea, implement the fucking idea, and then all I want is like an extra 25 cents a fucking hour. Stop being a bitch. Okay, so after that, me and a couple other guys had a conversation, and we were like, okay, from now on, and we just made it part of our introductory thing. And if you go to a plasma center, they're not gonna fucking do this. I invented this shit. You explain air bubbles to them.
Yeah, why wouldn't they just do that?
Because it's such a common, they did that just doesn't occur. It doesn't happen often enough where it's become a thing, but on the rare occasion that someone's going to see an air bubble is going to go into their arm.
It takes 25 seconds.
Yeah, because that thing's going, and they don't know what to do.
It's like a good server move, going out of your way to inform somebody.
Yeah, well, you kind of
something that might not even matter.
Well, you also keep in mind someone's got to clean up that fucking blood.
But what do you do, like, to stop that? Do they like safely remove the needle?
What? What do you mean?
In case of an air bubble, or
air bubbles don't mean anything.
Oh, okay.
It's a myth.
Oh, okay.
You need like a foot of air
for it to have any sort of effect.
Minimum. It's probably more like 6 feet. I'm just doing this based off of memory. It's actually probably like 6 feet of air. It's a lot of fucking air to cause that fucking shit.
It would be fucking freaky though.
Yeah. And if you don't know that, that fucking myth. That's like a myth, like if you punch a guy in the nose hard enough, it'll go into his brain. I remember everybody used to think that.
Well, the thing, the first time I took this was probably the first or second Taekwondo class, and I probably took 3. And I forget what he called it, but that's essentially what he said. Like it's a move like this where you take your palm and you go upward. And then it takes the cartilage from your nose. And
it slides it into your bone hole.
Yeah, and it's just like, what?
But your bone hole's like down here or something.
But when you're 9 years old, you're like, word.
Yeah.
It's weird that they said that, like, hey, be careful with this, you could kill somebody. Because they did. But, yeah, I always thought, like, also... just like it's cartilage against bone. Like I feel like that kind of alone is like, hey,
exactly.
The whole thing is bone.
Yeah, like that guy.
Stronger than cartilage.
Like Bjork's boyfriend. Fucking shot himself. The thing, I accidentally saw it in a GIF, and it didn't go out the back.
That dude's got a thick fucking skull.
That bullet just got caught.
That's crazy, dude.
I'm sure everyone who ever had a conversation with him said that about Bjork.
Yeah. Like, jeez. There wasn't even a blood.
But I think I always thought it came from Mike Tyson.
This is fucking bullshit. What?
I always thought it came from Mike Tyson.
What did?
The nose in your brain, because he used to have those crazy fucking interviews after a fight. He's like, he's such
a Taekwondo instructor told me this shit.
I know.
I swear to God.
I know.
I mean, it was in Somerville, South Carolina. Like,
some foot fist away
in a fucking YMCA. So I can't
some
exactly.
Foot fist away shit.
Yeah, like he didn't make us bow or anything. It was, like I said, I only took 3.
I took 2 karate
classes.
classes.
This is kind of fucking lame.
I remember the bow. You had to look at the guy, and they're like, "It's out of respect." And I was like, "You sure it's like so? Because you don't want to get kicked in the face. You're not looking." But no, Tyson after a fight said, "I was trying." He's like, "What was your goal in this fight? Or what was your strategy?"
Trying to kill him.
And he goes, "I was trying to punch his nose into his brain." So I don't know if Tyson if somebody heard that, took it literally, and then it spread like Richard Gere's gerbil. Yeah. Things go viral before the computer. I think that's, yeah, it's one of those things that goes viral before. It's amazing how things go viral just from word of mouth before the internet.
I mean, the peanut butter on your nuts for dogs thing alone. Like,
Yeah. Or Rod Stewart's cum.
Facebook.
Who was fucking? I heard a gallon of semen. Somebody had to have their stomach pumped for a gallon of semen. Somebody stole that for somebody else recently.
Oh.
Oh, it was on. It was Chuck Palahniuk. It was Choke.
What?
The guy that wrote Fight Club.
Yeah.
Okay. When we were talking with Will, and I was like, that guy's like such an exaggerator. I mean, he's a good writer, but he's one of these guys that just makes shit up and then says it if it's fact. And there's a part in Choke where he goes, you always hear about the person who fucked a vacuum cleaner, which I've heard, that's actually real. But then you'll have, the woman who has to get her stomach pumped because she sucks down so much semen. That's like, not happening.
I mean, when it starts to dry up, man, you don't know.
How many dicks would it take to where you'd have to
No,
get
it
to the
would take
point where you couldn't even regurgitate
insane
enough?
amount.
Yeah,
It would take an insane amount.
yeah. That's in Choke. He was talking about sex addicts. I had another guy jump out of the fucking bed and try and fight me because thought I was hitting on his girlfriend. I was, but I didn't know it was his girlfriend because it was a plasma center romance.
Thought it was his sister.
She was single when she started going to the plasma center, and at a certain point they started dating. But I didn't know. They moved her without telling me, and so I went over and I go, "What the hell's going on?" And this guy just starts screaming at me, like doing some like alpha male shit. And then I was like, "Okay, whatever, dude. I don't have to deal with this." I started walking away, and then he called me a fucking fairy. And I'm like, "What?" I was like, "What'd you say?" And then he jumps up.
This is all at a plasma center?
Yes, with the fucking tubes in his arm, right? And then
why do they have to make such a bad name for people selling their plasma? Like,
poor people. Why do poor people have to make such a bad name for the poor people?
Yeah, it's just like fuck.
But the
I was
woman.
Seeing that would be interesting.
It's still a line from Bill Hicks because my coworker tries to convince him to sit back down, right? And he looked like he was gonna go for removing the lines off of his arm, and then I went, "No, let him. We're all gonna learn a valuable lesson here."
Did he?
Didn't. No, he sat back down. He was bluffing.
He was bluffing.
He threatened all the time, dude. He used to be a guy that had Tourette's. Everybody hated him. Like I'm like the way I am with everything else. I had my fan base, you know? I was polarizing.
Everybody hated the Tourette. I mean,
but
yeah,
everybody
totally.
hated the Tourette's guy. And he was very negative, too.
You can't help it, but at the same time, like, this shit's a downer.
Yeah, I heard he got fucking busted for doing some fucking shit at a mall with some kid. I don't know. But whatever. I don't know what he was accused of. Some kind of sex crime.
Allegedly.
I found a picture of him because he used to be in a band, like some kind of fucking band. And he just has this ridiculous face, and he had like a
fucking
tuxedo.
ska band.
No, it was like a wedding band,
that's sick.
like a jazz.
So they just
funk
did covers
band.
and shit.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
It's fucking sick.
He knew who Nitzareb was, which I was really impressed with, which is like a Chicago industrial dance group from like the 80s and 90s. It was very obscure. Like my brother was into them. They're like when Chicago bands used to try and sound European, but whatever. He's like Nitzareb, yeah, I like Nitzareb, but he was just he was like a Sean Hannity fan. And this was when fucking Israel was bombing Gaza, and he was like rooting for like the destruction of Palestinian schools.
Christ.
This is when they were bombing hospitals and shit. And he was just horrible. But people would hate him, just in general, because his personality was really bad. And also, he would fucking chicken. He would do a chicken move.
Oh, was it chicken?
Like,
Was this?
Yeah, that was his twitch. I'm like, what the? Dude?
Have you ever?
I believe in giving people opportunities, but that's probably not the smartest hiring decision they ever made.
Yeah, that's kind of. It's like. I don't know. Give him a job at a call center. with a
Diversity is
headset
one thing, but
or
let's be
some shit.
practical. He's got a needle in his hand. I don't even understand what made him fucking whatever.
Yeah, that's true. He was
How
injecting
arrogant.
a needle. Just
How
go-
arrogant. This is going to be my... What do you want to do?
I would hate that guy.
I want to be a phlebotomist. I want to stick needles in people. Are you right-handed? Yes.
Did a triple bypass.
I'm right-handed.